Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, with our main topic today in the breakfast show. Well, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with the Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and a number of ministers, also the presidential spokesperson Ambassador Bassam Rodi said that the meeting dealt with following up the efforts of social protection measures in order to confront the repercussions of the current global economic crisis. Well, to shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have this phone with Dr. Yomn Hamaki, Professor of Economics. Good morning.
Good morning.
Dr. Hamaki, how do you see the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's and the government keenness in order to protect the limited income citizens?
Actually, this is a very important action to be taken in this period, since we all know that the impact of Russian-Ukrainian war affected most countries of the world, and the most important reaction is inflation and increasing the prices of food and energy significantly, which affected, to large extent, poor people and the middle class. From here it comes the importance of yesterday meeting, how to enlarge social protection for the majority of population in Egypt that are suffering from poverty or low income. And from here it comes the decisions that have been taken, first of all, to increase the number of beneficiaries from Takaful and Karama. We all know that Takaful and Karama
Solidarity and Dignity, yes.
Yes,
the initiative.
Yes, this initiative is quite important to address poor people, and actually it is a translation of, monetary subsidies, which means that selecting poor families and addressing women and putting the conditions of benefiting from such initiative about, the students in the schools, children should admit in schools, and health, surveillance to be taken into consideration by these families as conditions to benefit from this initiative. So enlarging the number of beneficiaries of Takaful and Karama, was the first step in order to address these repercussions. Another point is regarding, relieving the people that are having, less income, like the beneficiaries of pensions, and the employee in the government sector that their income, monthly is 2,070 pounds, and this figure can be represented as, like a minimum wage that we all know. This amount cannot address the increase of the price. And here it comes that these actions that have been taken, despite that it's going to increase the burden on the budget, the Egyptian budget, but still it can work actually properly to address the repercussions of increasing prices and inflation.
Yes, so Dr. Hamaki, you've just mentioned the initiative of Solidarity and Dignity, Takaful Karama. But there are other important initiatives that were launched by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, as for example, the Decent Life, which provides for a higher and a good standard of living, and it's going to raise the standard of living of around 53 million Egyptians. So how do you see the importance of the initiatives by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi?
I see a lot of initiatives, like you mentioned, regarding, combating poverty and trying to increase the standard of living and, the per capita income for most Egyptians and achieving a better equality of income distribution. This is a very important goal. But concentrating on takaful and karama can be regarded as a very important objective. And, this can coincide quite well with the program of decent life in which we are addressing approximately half of the population of Egypt in villages in order to improve the quality of life. The most important things that I would like to highlight regarding takaful and karama, the approach of takaful and karama nowadays for economic empowerment of poor people, because without addressing this without using economic empowerment of poor, you cannot achieve the better result according to all the experiences, the successful experiences of countries like India and China to combat poverty. You know that nowadays takaful and karama is having different channels in order to open opportunities of job by upgrading the skills of people benefiting from takaful and karama, concentrating on women and youth, in order to find for them an opportunity of job. And this is can be regarded as a very important step to be taken, since nowadays we are talking about structural reform, and we need to enhance the role of industrial and agriculture sector in generating GDP in Egypt. And this is actually can cope quite well with such tendency towards enhancing production and increasing the rate of growth. And this is what we are all looking forward for the coming period, inshallah, to address this crisis.
Yes, Dr. Hamaki, the President have since years ago, since the pandemic problem or crisis started in Egypt and the whole world, started supporting some institutions and some workers in a number of ministries here in Egypt. Like for example, the tourism sector. The President allocated a salary or a support amount of money monthly to support the people working in the tourism sector.
Had been affected seriously by the pandemic. This sector was the most sectors that had been affected seriously by the pandemic, and without supporting this sector, I believe that there was going severe effects regarding unemployment and closing economic activities in this sector. And from here it comes, like you mentioned, supporting such a sector by trying to support investors and keeping, workers by supporting them. I believe this was quite important, and without these steps that have been taken, we cannot have nowadays, a tendency towards a better tourism performance nowadays in Egypt, that we are in deep need for it, since tourism is regarding a very important source of foreign currency for Egypt. So what we need to do actually is diversification of our economic activities. Unfortunately, despite the importance of the tourism sector, still this sector, always is affected by, all the problems and crises that may, like the pandemic, like the Ukrainian war nowadays. So from here it comes that the only way to achieve sustainable development in Egypt is to try to diversify, the economy through real sectors like the industrial and agriculture and information technology. And we are in Egypt working quite hard nowadays to achieve such goals.
Yes, Dr. Hamaki, how do you see the initiatives launched by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi as a symbol or an example of helping the people with low income and also providing job opportunities and participation of women and youth as an example of a sustainable development projects that meets the plan of Egypt for the year 2030?
Always President Abdel Fattah Sisi is taking care of poor people and trying to achieve a better equality of income distribution. Still, what we need to do actually is to activate such initiatives, because it's not just by taking such important decisions to alleviate poverty, but what is mostly more important than that is how to achieve better opportunities or enlarging choices for the poor and the middle class to enhance their income. This is quite important, and it needs harmonization and coordination among ministers in cooperation with the civil society, businessmen and women, and industrial federation. All these, players should act in orchestrated efforts in order to generate more opportunities of job. And I believe this is actually what we need to concentrate on for the coming period, inshallah.
Yes, Dr. Hamaki, also, Dr. Hamaki? Hello? Dr. Yomn Hamaki? So unfortunately, we've lost the line. We thank Dr. Yomn Hamaki, Professor of Economics. Ladies and gentlemen, a short break and I'm going to be back with you.